Hello and welcome to the Bruce H. Ling Cultural Cafe for the Story and Song Series. We're 3 days into 2021, everyone. Yay! We made it. It's January 3rd, 2021. Number one, I'm Matt Trask. Maybe I didn't say that yet. You're going to know way more about me than you want to in the next hour. My absolute thanks to Dexter Carmen and the gang here at Cave Collective for inviting me to do this tonight. I am among the many people who are very disappointed that the original performer, Liza Blue, was not able to attend and had to back out. She's so good. She's doing a series, we'll probably talk about it more later, on South Dakota Public Broadcasting. That's fantastic. I wish she was here. This show is going to be worse because it's me. But I'm so happy to be here. Thanks to the Dahl Art Center. We just have such a great community here in Rapid City. So I'm Matt Trask. I do the show Old Faithful on YouTube. Shameless plug for myself. I also write a few songs once in a while. I'm a big fan of set lists. I made a set list and I actually discovered I had written quite a few more songs than I actually thought I had. I'd never sat down and wrote them all out. So some of my fans may be disappointed that there might not be a song or two in this set list. But this song, let me look what's, okay. So I moved to Rapid City this time about 5 years ago. And I was at the tail end of a marriage, and I wasn't real happy about moving to Rapid City, and I'm still not terrible tickled about it. But anyway, so I moved to town, and I was on a ranch before that. And, you know, all cowboys now have cell phones, and we know who Lil Nas X is. It's not like we're saying, Tarnation, what's the street like? You know, we know, we've been to the grocery store and stuff. But I do, at times, feel a little out of place living in town. And I can spot a cowboy hat from a mile away. I'm attracted to a cowboy hat if I see one. And there is a gigantic neon cowboy hat on the cowboy on the roof of the Stock Doors building on St. Joseph Street, if you know what I'm talking about. And because I've lived alone too long and because I'm weird, often if I'm driving by that at night, I will literally say out loud, "Good night, cowboy." And so one day I drove by and I said, "Good night, cowboy." And then I said, "He's watching over the neon range." Because I'm super weird, I said that out loud. And I went, whoa, neon range. And so I wrote this song. It is called, you're going to be shocked, it's called Neon Range. Here we go. I sold my cows at auction last September. I took my horse and ran him through the sale. Brought enough that I threw in the saddle. I drove home and packed my things and hit the trail. And now I'm riding the neon range. There ain't no cow and life is strange. I'm telling you, it's quite a change now that I'm riding the neon range. I hope my horse ain't too mad that I sold him. It looked like he went to a cowboy crew. I got a job, I work for Skull Construction, and I do my best like Dad taught me to do. While I'm riding the neon range, there ain't no cow, and life is strange. I'm telling you, it's quite a change now that I'm riding the neon range. Sometimes you'll catch me staring past the city when the mornings get so cool in middle fall. But I will admit in the chill of February that I don't miss the cowboy life at all. While I'm riding the neon lane, there ain't no cow and life is strange. I'm telling you, it's quite a change now that I'm riding the neon lane. Thank you. This concludes the story and song series. Good night, everyone. Ha 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 ha. No, we got more. Unfortunately. Oh, thank you guys. So the next song, I think I'm going to do 7 songs. I have 7 songs written down here. The next song, I don't know who it's about, and I really don't know. I don't sit down and write songs, like hammer them out, and I think that's great for people who do that. And sometimes I think, boy, I am an undisciplined songwriter, and maybe I should do that. But I just don't do it that way. It's never worked for me. They just kind of fall into my head. And this is about some guy that's madly in love with somebody, and I don't know either of them, but here we go. Gotta remember the words here. Oh yeah, here we go. I like the way that you look the day that we met. You left an impression on me I'll never forget. I like the way you called my number when I gave it to you. And when you're gone, I love missing you. You know I'm gonna talk about you when I'm out with the guy. Pretend that I can live without you, but we know that's a lie. I like dancing with you downtown at night, and I like coffee with you in the morning light. I really like the way that you look when you have a few. And when you're gone, I love missing you. I might have had a woman or two, yes, but I've never had a woman that I miss. Someday the kids will grow up and move away, and maybe you'll go to visit and I'll have to stay, and you'll go take the babies to the Denver Zoo. And while you're gone, I love missing you. I like the way that you love the day that we met. Thank you so much. Song about people I don't know. That certainly ain't happening to me. What do we got next? Oh, a big one. This will probably, no matter how famous I get, and don't hold your breath, this will be my Stairway to Heaven. This is the first song that I can remember writing. And the day I wrote it, I came from a ranch, and I wrote this 15, 20 years ago, I think. It was ongoing, well, so I was on the family ranch, and family ranches are becoming a little more rare, but, you know, throughout the history of America, the family agricultural operation is kind of a different sort of cat, because all the members of the family are engaged in the occupation of farming and ranching. And so not only are you the son, you are part of the business. Not only are you the father, you are part of the business. And so sometimes fathers treat their sons and their daughters like wayward employees, and sometimes their fathers or sons and daughters treat their parents like tyrannical bosses. And it's kind of understandable, if at times unforgivable. So anyway, I had been feeding cows all winter. I was in a gigantic tractor with a bale processor, and you'd load 4 bales on it, and you'd drive around in the pasture and feeding the cows. And Dad wanted us to do that, drive this gigantic several-ton conveyance around without leaving any trace that we had been there, and I never did figure out how to do that. It was a daily argument that we had, and so as I was driving away, rather upset at my dad, this song, I'm gonna need a capo if I go out of frame. This song didn't take very long to write. It's called The Farm Song, among other things, and there are a few mild profanities in it. And the filming crew here, if you learn the words, jump right in and sing on the chorus, because it's a kind of a fun sing-along song. Here we go. I was raised on a ranch in South Dakota. My daddy was a hard-working, God-fearing man. When I grew up, like most kids do, I never worried, 'cause I always knew that Daddy would understand. You dumb little bastard, what'd you do that for? I swear I can't take it anymore. Your inattention is doing me harm. I swear to God, if you don't quit diddling around and breaking shit, I'm gonna have to sell the farm. I can see him standing by the baler, resisting the urge to scream and shout. I'd get scared when he'd start to grin, 'cause I knew that his patience was wearing thin. He'd say, "You're 8 years old, you ought to have this figured out. You dumb little bastard, what'd you do that for? I swear I can't take it anymore." We apparently got a ranch kid in the audience here. And your inattention is doing me harm. I swear to God, if you don't quit diddling around and breaking shit, I'm gonna have to sell the farm. He said family ties are more important than how much money the cattle bring this fall. But son of a bitch, if you don't pay attention, we might not have any cattle to sell at all. Sing on if you know it, everybody. You dumb little bastard, what'd you do that for? I swear I can't take it anymore. Your inattention is doing me harm. I swear to God, if you don't quit diddling around and breaking shit, I'm gonna have to sell the Oh, thank you so much. I forgot to mention about that song. I played it out a time or two over the course of the 20 years. It's amazing how seriously and emotionally fathers and sons in particular have taken that song. And it was kind of a joke, it's kind of a bitter joke. But they like bond over that song. It's really weird. Anyway, so there's the farm song. Here we go. This will be fun. Here's some things you can know about this song. I was actually riding a four-wheeler when it popped into my head. And the first time I played it was on an upside down on a right-handed guitar, because that was what was in my brother-in-law's house. And the first line came to me. You're going to hear the first line when I do the song. And I thought, oh my goodness, what are we riding here? Turns out it's about a dead horse. Here we go. I had a horse named Dan. That's the extent of the realism in this song. The rest of it was just completely made up by my brain. I dug you a hole and I built you a cross. I'd never done that ever before. When we lowered you in, I was feeling the loss. This spring, I'm feeling it more. You were a better horse than I deserve, and I'm gonna miss you, Big Dan. If I'm being honest, I'll always agree that you made me look like a hand. I've got a new horse. He's a broad-shouldered bay. We don't work together like you did with me. And I am so tired when I put him away. Cowboying with you was so easy. You were a better horse than I deserve, and I'm gonna miss you, Big Dan. If I'm being honest, I'll always agree that you made me look like a hand. Sometimes I ride to your grave on the hill. I get off the bay and I sit in the grass, and I tell the bay a real horse lives here. Don't make me dig him up and have him kick your ass. You were a better horse than I deserve, and I'm gonna miss you, Big Dan. If I'm being honest, I'll always agree that you made me look like a hand. You were a better horse than I deserve, and I'm gonna miss you. Thank you so much. This is more fun than roping goats on a Saturday night. Thank you guys for letting me be a part of it. I am truly having a ball. Oh, same position on the capo. We can leave it right there. So I am divorced, and I can't pretend this song is not about my divorce. It's not like a mean song about divorce. It's, a sad song about divorce. I'm more or less okay now, but it's about divorce. This is going out to anybody who's had a divorce, because it's not fun. It's been a year since I slept in your bed, so I understand you thought our love was dead. I waited and prayed, and it hurt me so, standing aside as I watch you go. Whose eyes would cry on the pillow at night, and whose arms would ache to be holding you tight. Now, honey, I know it was all a mistake, but whose heart did you think you would break? My fondest wish is a good life for you, but you misunderstand everything that I do. Maybe our love was just not meant to be, but that line of thinking is no help to me. Whose eyes would cry on the pillow at night, and whose arms would ache to be holding tight. Honey, I know it was all a mistake, but whose heart did you think you would break? Whose eyes would cry on the pillow at night, and whose arms would ache to be holding tight. Honey, I know it was all a mistake, but whose heart did you think you would break? This pain in my heart is almost too much to take. Tell me, whose heart did you think you would break? Thank you so much. As promised in a Facebook post 2 days ago, the world premiere, you're all excited about this right here, My Phone, a new song that I have sung for exactly one person in the entire world. I wrote it a while back. We're 3 days in. I can say this now. This was inspired by a mistake I made last year. And we won't focus on the mistake. We'll focus on the song, which in my opinion is a pretty good song. We're about to find out if you think so too. And this one is going out to anyone who lost someone in 2020. which of course includes, people who lost a stupid boy or a stupid girl. Also people who lost people due to the coronavirus. And I have gained a particular soft spot in my heart for those who died of natural causes and our normal cultural practices were interrupted by the coronavirus, not getting to be with, and that's just a bad hand. So, sorry about that, and here we go. Oh, there's an intro. Wish me luck. Here we go. This ain't about what came between us, 'cause it doesn't really matter. And I don't wanna go there, 'cause I don't need to make this sadder. I don't need to be reminded. I'd remember just the same. Tell me, how can I forget you when my phone still spells your name? I drove by your place of business. I thought I saw you through the window. I don't think you could see me, and I don't know why I did that. I don't need to be reminded. I'd remember just the same. Tell me, how can I forget you when my phone still spells your name? I don't need to be reminded. I'd remember just the same. Tell me, how can I forget you when my phone still spells your name? Tell me, how can I forget you when my phone still spells your name? Woo! The world premiere right here at the Bruce H. Lane Cultural Cafe, and they like it. Wow! Thank you, guys. We've got two more, according to my set list. I need the capo again. My head might move out of the frame. So I have done some performing, not as much as hopefully you think I've done. And I always wanted to perform. I always wanted to play and sing. Anyone who's ever strapped on a guitar or sat down at a piano or probably a drum kit and started playing and done it for a while, at some point there's going to be a day when you're up on the stage being the rock star and you look out and see the crowd having fun and you're like, oh, that's the drawback of being on the stage. I can't do that. Even if, like in my case, you never were that good at having fun on the dance floor, but you're like, oh, that looks kind of fun, but I got to be up here. So this is kind of about that. Watch her dance with the cowboy and see her smile at the bar. But I won't ask her to dance with me. I belong behind this old guitar. She probably lives around here somewhere, and she comes here on Friday night to dance and drink and practice flirting, waiting for her Mr. Right. And from the stage she looks real classy, and she deserves a stable life, and that's not what she'd be getting if she became a country singer's wife. So watch her dance with the cowboy and see her smile at the bar. But I won't ask her to dance with me. I belong behind this old guitar. And so I'll play this 3-chord country, and I'll sing the best I can. I'll probably watch her out of boredom while I help her to find a man. And then I'll pack this trusty breed love and say goodnight when they go home. Try not to wonder what she's doing, 'cause it's better that we both don't sleep alone. So watch her dance with the cowboy and see her smile at the bar. But I won't ask her to dance with me. I belong behind this old guitar. I belong behind this old guitar. Woo! Thank you so much, everyone. According to my set list, what time are we at, guys?
We're right around 7:30.
7:30, so we're doing good.
We're doing great.
We're doing great. One more song, and then we will do the other portion. This is not an original. I threw in a cover song. I do believe it has now entered the public domain. I could be wrong about that, but this is one of my favorite songs. It is not the national anthem of Austria. It was actually written by the incredible duo of Rodgers and Hammerstein. You really wanted to tune in tonight and watch an ex-cowboy doing show tunes. I know you did. And this is, I'm going to dedicate it to Dexter Carmen's wife, because I don't mean to start any controversy, but this was her maiden name. I don't know what name she's using now, but her maiden name is the title of this song. So here you go, Natasha. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, every morning you greet me. You're small and you're white, Lord, and you're clean and bright. Look happy to meet me. Blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow. Bloom and grow forever. Edelweiss, my Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, every morning you greet me. You're small and you're white, Lord, and you're clean and bright. And you look happy to meet me. Blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow. Bloom grow forever. Please, Edelweiss, my Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever. Thank you so much. Is that good for songs?
That's great.
Okay.
That was great. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm really glad you reached out. So, basically, we had planned to have Eliza Blue on the show this week, and that did not work out. And so I had to find someone last minute, and you had just happened to message me, I think, the day I found out that Eliza wasn't going to make it to see.
Really?
It was really good timing.
Somewhat serendipitous. I'm
yes.
still disappointed that she was unable to make it, but we wish her the best.
Which is what you would say if you sabotaged her so you could take her slot. So, it worked out great though, because I mean it's great to have you on the show. You never played the stage at the Old Cave Collective. You came to shows a couple times, but
we were about to.
Yes, I know.
As the Sad and Lonesome Boys. We were like 3 weeks out, and the whole world went down. Yep.
Yeah, we had a lot of shows planned for 2020,
right.
so we're just going to have to make up for them in 2021.
If I may I? The Cave Collective is, for my money, one of the best examples of an organization that was just hitting its stride when the pandemic hit, and you guys had to shift gears, and you have very admirably, I've been cheering you damn near every day. You've kept going forward in any direction you could with remarkable results. The drive-in thing in Hermosa, which I was unable to attend, I had my daughter that week. I'm not complaining about that, but looked like a smashing success in this, and you've raised a bunch of money. Way to go, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, we got a super awesome team. I'm really grateful for everyone who's involved. It wouldn't be possible without the people we have involved,
right,
and the artists who get involved, and the community. I mean, that's come up a couple times during this set, is just the amazing community we have here in Rapid City. I also want to thank Josh. Josh is here with the Dahl Fine Arts Center. We are here in the Cultural Cafe, where they host the Emerging Artists Program. For those who are not familiar, the Emerging Artists is an open mic program they have every Friday, I believe.
Every Friday.
So that's something that they're live streaming that on the Dahl's Facebook page. Definitely check into that.
They are.
Yeah. They got some cool programs down here. Hopefully we'll be hearing more about them this year.
You caught me off guard. I was not aware of that.
I think a lot of folks aren't. We gotta help get the word out. That's what we do, right?
Stop just gawking at hot chicks on Facebook.
Yeah, that's all I do on Facebook. Right. Definitely. Yeah. So I really want to say thanks to the Dahl. It's actually really cool to be here doing this session here right now, because the 3 cameras we have set up, we got a grant here from the Rapid City Arts Council that made it possible to purchase this equipment. So to be able to be here, let's give the Dahl a round of applause for sure.
Let's have a hand for that.
Yeah, the Rapid City Arts Council has been super supportive. We really appreciate them. I also want to thank the South Dakota Arts Council.
Okay.
They've also given some funds to make this program possible. I would apologize for these pitches right now, but you have your own show that you have to pitch your sponsors during.
Well, yeah, I don't. The Trask Hay is kind of a joke, almost. He helped me. He helped me with a car repair bill, but literally, this is how Trask show love it. Trasks is by picking on other Trasks. So there are 2 Trasks who have hay company, and my brother, the Trask, wanted me to mention his Trask hay, so the other one would be like grrr. And then part of the game is you never acknowledge that you've been got. So the other one is never said like, hey, you got me. But anyway, it's kind of fun. And then Black Hills Blend, I just like coffee, and I like their coffee, and drink Black Hills Blend.
They're really not paying you for that?
No.
Wow.
Well,
Wow.
I haven't had coffee on the show
That's-
since the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I just,
Yeah.
and I just thought, this is how we do it. We just start mentioning people. Maybe they'll pay me later. Maybe they won't.
I mean, that really, there is some truth in
I
that.
like coffee.
I also like coffee. Black Hills Blend, if you're looking for sponsorees, I also enjoy your coffee, and I'll be glad to plug it on the program.
Sure. Yeah.
So let's talk about your program some,
Okay.
because you've been doing a pretty cool thing.
Thank you.
And it did not stop during the pandemic.
Well, I did not.
So
No.
good on you as well for keeping it going. You want to tell us about your YouTube show?
Sure. Well, as to your point about the pandemic, I do understand, and I've gotten a little judgment, and I do understand that completely. But it was either keep going or quit for me. And so we've been able to, every week I say, I'm Catholic and I'm somewhat religious. I don't get too carried. But every week I say, Jesus, please send me one more guitarist. And every week he has. Thank you, Jesus, for that. And so it's, if we're going to talk about small groups, it's never more than 4 people in a room. And I have not, begged anyone at gunpoint to come on the show. They volunteered to come on the show. And so we've been able to keep it going. And I was like 4, 5, 6 months in when the pandemic started, and I did 4 solo ones because everybody kind of freaked out in the beginning,
Sure.
very understandably, and so I thought, well, I'll just do 4 solo ones, so at least it looks responsible, and so I did take the snap for 4 episodes, but then we went back to having guests, and no one that I'm aware of has gotten the coronavirus because of my show, which I appreciate. Thank you again, Jesus. But I suppose you want me to talk about the show.
I mean, it's really your 15 to 20 minutes of energy to talk about whatever you want. So if that's how you want to spend the time, I'm not going to try to dissuade you.
I love answering
I've got
questions.
so many questions
Well, go
for
ahead
you.
and
So
ask me a question.
okay, I'm going to ask you a
Okay,
question. You ready?
sure.
So one of my favorite questions to ask people who are on our show.
Sure.
Those of us who have chosen to move to South Dakota or
Right.
have been born and raised here, we all know that we love South Dakota. This is our home.
Oh, yeah.
For better or worse, whether we got stuck here or chose to be here.
Preach on, Brother Dexter.
Yeah, we all
Right.
love and hate it at the same time. Now, about that,
Right.
you grew up here
I did.
on a ranch.
On a ranch, yes, sir.
That influences songwriting.
Well, it does. Yes. Yeah,
So
absolutely it does.
I want to know, how do you feel? Because I've not had a single person who's been a rancher or an ex-cowboy on the program. How do you feel like that?
Go through the record.
Am I mistaken?
I can't say that you are, but you have to be.
I better go back. I don't want to upset anybody. If there's any ranchers watching that have previously starred in the Story and Song series.
Well, anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Set up
No, it's
a
okay.
hypothetical premise. You
Yeah,
believe
so-
on the first ranch.
So,
song.
what I'm curious about is, how do you feel like your experience growing up on a ranch here in South Dakota has influenced your songwriting and your view of art?
Well, that's a very good question. And before
Thank you.
I answer that, I will say that when I moved to town,
Can we have you speak more into the mic?
Yes, absolutely. I'm sorry. When I moved to town, I had a lot of time to think, and I realized what all real ranchers have in common. Dexter, do you know what that is?
Cows?
A ranch. And I did not have a ranch. And yes, that makes Michael Jackson more of a rancher than I was, actually. He had a ranch. So your
That's
question,
a unique take.
how does ranching affect your songwriting? And it absolutely has to. Personally, I think that you're very influenced by the stuff, and I don't know what years it would be exactly, but some music that you listen to for a set of years, say maybe 11 to 18, I don't know. And for me, it was definitely commercial, mostly top 40 country from the 60s through the 90s. And so that's kind of what I write, whether I want to or not. I have written some other things, generally speaking. When I write something else, I wrote a soul song one time. I do not think I perform them well. I don't do justice to them. And I'm like, God, why'd you give me this? I'm such a bad. Just like, you should have gave it to Sophia Beatty or somebody, you know, why? But anyway, and what was the other thing I was going to say about that? I don't know. Ask another question.
Ask another question. Okay. I wasn't ready for the crossover yet.
Okay.
So, one thing that I talk about on the program quite consistently, I talked about it during this conversation itself, is
Right.
connection.
Sure.
You put a lot of effort into connecting with your community.
Well,
Is that intentional? Are you aware of it?
absolutely. Out of absolute necessity. My show, Old Faithful, once again, where I interview people about their instruments, the success of that is predicated on me finding another guest for the show every week. And so I have to engage. I have to find new people. I have to convince them. We were talking a little bit before the show. I believe the kids call it extra. I'm a big, bouncy, friendly, like salesman person. And a lot of people, when I walk up, I get the impression they see a hustle coming. And so I have to introduce myself and let them know about the show, and then let them experience it on their own without me like hopping up and down in their face or whatever I apparently do. And so, yeah, and then, I'll be truly transparent about it. I am absolutely trying to gain a following of some sort. I currently work for Skull Construction, and that has kept me from starving to death. But I don't believe that's where I'm supposed to be for the rest of my life. And I would like to be an entertainer, and you got to go out and find them. And I don't see the point of being not nice or ignoring my potential fan base,
Well, that was my very first interaction with you. And yeah, the first thought I had when we interacted was, what's in it for this guy? Because we were talking at Haggerty's, and you had met my wife Natasha in the past, and we had mentioned that we were opening the Cave Collective.
Yeah.
And we were buying a microphone, but had a very limited budget. And you gave us your microphone, one of these, an SM58. It's like a $120 microphone.
It was an AKG.
Was it?
D5.
So I'm completely mistaken.
It's actually at Mom and Dad's right now. I still have it. I'm so proud of that story, by the way.
You should be.
Yeah. And then after I gave it to her, I was like, oh, wait. I'm going to have to go to whatever they're using my microphone at.
Well, we used it for our very first show.
I'm so proud of that. Yeah.
You know what was actually really funny about that? The Lowest Pair was the first band we ever had at the Cave Collective for our first big show. And that microphone, we went through all that hassle. The opening band used it, and the Lowest Pair had these fancy microphones they brought themselves.
Oh, wow.
And we didn't end up needing it for the second set.
Sure.
But for that first set, it carried us.
Well,
Speaking of, I don't want to interrupt, but Perfect Wave, too, you work with them a lot.
I do.
They loaned us the whole sound system for that same show.
Oh.
So the microphone came from you, and the sound system came from them.
Well, the first one was if I recall, Dakota women running for political office in Rapid City.
Yeah, that
And
was
before
we even opened
the story. So I went, and I'm standing in the back. I'm a cowboy, and I love those guys. I love them all, but I looked out of place. Everybody's like, "What are you doing here?" And so I'm standing there, and somebody hands me this sign-up sheet, and I didn't know what the sign-up sheet was for, how many people were at the Cave Collector. So I just signed the sign-up sheet, and so I take my mic and I go home. And a couple weeks later, I get a call, and this gal says, so you signed the sign-up sheet. How would you be willing to help the Lakota women running for office? Like, can you get out the vote? Can you drive people to the polls? And I was like, I did what now? And so I said, ma'am, I'm terribly sorry. I did not realize what I was doing, but man, I want to make it clear that I didn't disagree with them, but even if I am diametrically opposed to your cause, I am a huge fan of lost causes. And so I was like, what can I do? Because you got me now. I will. And what I ended up doing was getting some fried chicken at Walmart and bringing it, and chips, and that's what I did. So I ended up going to a second engagement because of the first engagement.
Really? I had no idea.
Right, yeah. This idiot cowboy in the back signing sign-up sheets, and yeah. And
so dimly lit rooms are the best place to pass around sign-up sheets. If you have a cause you want to rally people for, make sure they can't see the sheet.
There's just a cowboy not paying attention in the back, like signing stuff, giving away his card. Sure, why not?
There's one of those almost in every business in South Dakota.
Yeah. What? To answer your question that you apparently had, and that's hilarious. I am a mic junkie, and I used to live, and it's so weird. I lived 70 miles out of town when I was in the country, and now I say I used to live over by East North Street, like a mile away is just too damn far. But I used to live right off of East North Street, so I would just haunt the pawn shops all the time. I knew, and that's, as an entertainer, you kind of have to, you know. And so, like, quickly you learn that the guitars there are rode hard and put up wet. You don't spend much time, but you go through the gear with a fine-tooth comb, so you know. And so, at that time, I knew if there was a microphone anywhere in town. And so, and brand new, sure, mics are very expensive. They have to be. I'm not saying anybody's ripping them off, but I happen to know where there was one pretty much brand new with the case.
It's the one in my hand right now.
What's that?
It's the one in my hand.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's been used some since then, hasn't it?
A little
Yeah.
bit.
But so I'm a friend to all people, and I want everybody to save money, and that's what was in it for me. And then she's like, well, I don't have time to drive over there. And I was like, what in the hell is this woman doing?
Just like pawn shops. I don't blame her. You know, half the stuff in pawn shops is broken. You know that, right?
That is true, yeah.
And if you don't comb over with a fine-tooth comb,
Right.
which I haven't.
I do have to now tell you a story. So I moved to town and in 2016, and then maybe the next year, it doesn't matter. I go to a thing at the Racing Magpie, the art deal in the elevated building, and it's I don't remember what it was, but you know, you do for networking, and you never know. So I'm at this thing, and the gal from the Racing Magpie says, "Oh, I'm leaving," and she said, "Would you like to perform at the end of the month?" The end of the month art show. And I said, oh my goodness, I'd be glad. And I'm thinking, wow, I made it. And she's like, oh, thank God, you're the fifth person we've had. So anyway, so I'm call number 5, you know, walking out the door, whatever. And so I don't have a sound system at the time. And so I go to a pawn shop, and well, I go to all the pawn shops and I scour everything, and I find this sound system, and I said, okay, I will be back. And so I came back with a guitar and a mic, and I plugged it all in, and I did like an hour show in the pawn shop to make sure this thing worked. And it worked for the hour I put on the show. I should have had a hat. I probably could have got tips, you know. And so I'm like, sweet, I got a sound system, I got a gig. I'm the 5th guy, but hey, let's look on the bright side, you know. Sure. And so I go to the gig, and I set up my sound system. Halfway through the first song, that thing died on me.
No way.
Yeah. And like, if you've ever been there, I was so then I'm just like, I just whacked the microphone out of the way, and we're just acoustic now, and I sing very softly, and there's the front room, and then there's this big hall. Uh-huh. And so everybody's back there, and everybody's looking at, plaster masks or whatever back there, and there's nobody. It's just me playing a guitar in a lobby for nobody. And this guy sits down, finally, one guy. And so I'm playing a Merle Haggard song. Well, yeah, maybe I could play some of it. Down every road, there's always one more city. I'm on the run, the highway is my home. I'm playing that, and Merle Haggard, you know, and we're having a good time in the lobby, you know. And I get done, and I go, you know, and he stands up and he says, "That was awesome. I love Alan Jackson." And then he left. And that was my first gig.
No kidding.
Yep.
And you kept going.
What's that?
And you kept going after
Well,
that.
I did. There was nothing else to do. I didn't have
Yeah.
anywhere to be, and it was warm, And then some people showed up. Who had gotten the impression that it was a jam. And I was like, why the hell not? Let's have a jam. So then we had a jam. And, yeah,
What an experience.
Oh, man, we've had experiences over here. Yeah, you bet. Yeah.
That's what I found that to everyone who attends a show or
Right.
watches a show, it's a show.
Right.
But when you're on the other side of the stage, I'm sure Josh knows this too, when you're putting that show on, getting things organized,
Right.
it's a whole different story.
Oh, it's mad. Yeah.
It's just chaos.
The picture that you used on Instagram of me in this ridiculous cowboy suit, I
a
love
nice
that
picture.
cowboy suit. It cost me $37, but anyway, and I have a gold shirt and a white tie. I mean, I look like Boss Hogg's second cousin, in that picture. Look it up on Instagram, and I done that very, very intentionally. Are we okay? Okay. I had done that super intentionally because we were going to film a video. A friend of mine, it was before I'd started the show, and I was trying to get the show going or something because all these people wanted videos. And so this friend of mine said, I have access to a bunch of video equipment. Come over and we'll shoot a couple videos. And I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. And so we picked a day. It was a Sunday. And so I get all dressed up in this ridiculous Howdy Doody outfit, and I get my $70 pawn shop hat on my head, and I get in, grab a guitar, and I get in my Subaru Outback, and it's quite a ways out of town to the north. And I'd been there once before. And so I'm driving out of town, and there's this cloud starts coming over the hills. And I mean, you never know. They might go around you and miss you, but whoever was underneath that cloud was going to get it,
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm driving along, and I get out there, and I miss a turn, and I have to turn around. And so I go, and so I get, and I'm pretty sure it's his house, but I'm not 100% sure. And so I go up to the door, and it's locked. And so I knock on the door, and he doesn't answer, and so I'm just standing there. Well, here this thing comes rolling in. I mean, we're not messing around. And it's a newer house. I don't know how new. But so the front door has got this like veranda, but it's artsy. It's like 15, 16 foot high. So very quickly I realized this thing ain't protecting me at all. And I'm about to literally drown in my Howdy Doody suit on his front step. And so I was like, well, I got to do something. Like, literally, the car seemed too far away. And so I go to his garage, and I tried the door, and the garage door was open. So I'm standing in a garage in this Howdy Doody suit, and I'm soaking wet at this point. Just standing there, and the rain's pounding down, and I'm still not 100% sure if I'm at the right place. Like, somebody might come out for a tube of hamburger out of the deep freeze and beat me to death with a tennis racket, What's this Howdy Doody moron doing in my garage, And so it gets all done. It takes a while. I'd probably stand there 45 minutes or so, And I get done. It gets done, and I go outside, and I thought, well, I should call him. And so I call him, and I said, hey, Rob, how you doing? He said, oh, pretty good, And I said, well, what are you doing? He said, oh, I'm just doing a little homework here in the house. I'm at the house. What are you doing? I said, well, I'm standing in your garage, actually.
Was it his garage?
It was his garage,
Okay.
yeah.
I was really afraid where the story might be going.
Right. Well, no, it was. I had found the right house. But I should have just called him right off the bat. He had headphones in or what. I don't know. He couldn't hear, and I thought he wasn't there, So
That's the problem when you get into that state of mind where things aren't going quite right. It's not like your brain's operating in tip-top shape. You're like, oh, I'm presented with something I wasn't anticipating. Thank God my brain is not going to freak out right now.
But I'm like, it's egotistical to think that I have the most interesting life. But
we're artists.
sometimes I look around and I'm like, wow. I just want to experience this because this is getting wackadoodle right here, So, yeah. There you go.
Well, I think, we talked about things that can go wrong during a show.
Oh, yeah.
And so far, nothing has gone wrong during the show, but we're getting real close to an hour.
Except that Captain Dumbass didn't bring his pick, thanks to Harley Glazer.
Yeah.
In fact, the JS3, which is what I use, props to the JS3 from a fine Jim Dunlop product, and thank you, Harley.
Harley's always there, like,
By
just
golly, he saved us.
saves the day every single time.
And I didn't drop it.
That's very
My
exciting.
hand got a little sweaty, went sideways a couple of times, but I didn't drop it. So thank you guys, yeah.
Well, I really want to thank you for coming on the show
Absolutely.
tonight.
And I did forget to say it's kind of chilly out here because it's January, so I wore my flannel shirt.
I was hoping you were going to make a flannel shirt joke. Thank God.
Absolutely. I went to, if you don't know, Flannel is an amazing band here in the Rapid City area. There are many amazing bands. Flannel is one of them. And for my money, their dual guitar tone is perfect. And
I would have to agree with
they
that.
played a show at the Alex Johnson on New Year's Eve, and I was there. I also saw Camp Comfort, plugged them, and I saw Pumpin' Ethel. And the next night, I went to the Buffalo Bodega and shook my tail feathers to DJ Cowboy.
So you had a busy weekend.
I was busy, and then here. Yeah.
Well, thanks for
with
being
my
here.
buddy Dexter.
We
Carter.
appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
Well, I also want to say thanks to Matt, thanks to Josh, thanks to the Dahl, thank you to my amazing team behind the cameras. Couldn't do it without you.
Absolutely, you guys.
Thank you to everyone who's tuned in tonight.
Thank you to Odessa for coming.
Yeah, and she was like really, really quiet the whole time. We bring my daughter to shows, and that's
wanted
like
to
my
do
built-in
that.
alarm clock.
She was a great duet partner before we got the camera going.
Yeah,
she
I mean,
must have gotten shy.
I'm not going to try and convince her otherwise. All right. Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Matt. We're going to be next weekend over at Studio Disco with Devin Sance, so we will see you then at Story and
my
Song
buddy
Series.
Devin Sance, absolutely.
Devin Sance is great.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys then.
Happy
Thanks
New
a
Year.
lot.